One thing I learned recently that really started to change not just my experience of life, but my ability to generate and create more things that I wanted to actually have in my life was that understanding that I don't create my thoughts, or at least all of them anyway. And where this idea actually came from is just over experience that, I started to notice at times there were thoughts um, that were in a negative tone when I was not happy, or in that thoughts that were in an angry tone when I was upset, or thoughts that were in a great mood and very optimistic when I was doing better. And then I started to realize that our thoughts really are a flow based upon the state or the vibration or the frequency that we're being. Like, we're literally tuning it into that. So if you can kind of get the thought of like tuning your thoughts is like tuning into a radio station, right? So the more powerful the radio station you are tuned into, the more powerful thoughts that'll come with that, because your inner game is not just your mindset, right? Your inner game is your mindset. It's your experiences, your past references, it's your expectations, right? So, and inner game actually is a big part of our frequency. And when your frequency is aligned, you will start generating more powerful thoughts and powerful thoughts. The simplest way I know to get it dialed into a different frequency and flow of thought patterns, a different inner game frequency, is to, number one, like, take ownership of your entire life. And by taking ownership of your entire life, I mean where your life is today and everything that is in your life today is a result of the thoughts and actions and ideas and everything else that you've done up until this point. A lot of people end up spending a lot of their time reacting to how life is and having a frustration or emotional challenge of how life actually is. And they end up spending a lot of time really frustrated in trying to solve the emotional aspect of the resistance to what's coming up in life. So the answer really is take ownership of life right now, because when you take ownership of life right now, it shifts your perspective. And when you shift your perspective, it shifts the field you're playing the game on. It shifts your expectations. It shifts your the thought patterns and helps you dial into that other thought pattern, right? So if we want to dial into a more powerful flow of thoughts, ideas, inspirations, actions, the first way to do that is with taking ownership of your world where it is. Everything that's in your life today, good, bad, different, purple, red, yellow, it's irrelevant. It's yours. It's your life right now. You can be in resistance to it, and you can spend the next day or two or week or month or year or 5 years complaining about it, or you can start moving forward and expanding and changing how it is. So, number one, take ownership of where it's at, okay? Number two, get a sense of where you want it to go. Because that other version of you is just literally a frequency away. It's literally a feeling away. So when we also start to get the idea and the perspective that we tune into patterns of thought, like radio stations, it gives us the presupposition and the idea that we are more than all of that. Because you are a creator. You're now, it's like I'm a creator. You're never not creating. Like taking a class on manifestation is actually pointless because you're never not attracting. We live in an attraction-based universe. The universe is always matching you with people and ideas and thoughts and coincidences and situations that are in alignment and a match to the frequency that you're operating from. So shifting that frequency is like, take ownership. Okay, yeah, this is mine. It's where it is. It is today. I am a creator. And it's not that people don't know how to create. The problem is most people end up spending most of their time creating what they don't want and repeating it over and over again. So take ownership. Know that you're a creator and you're creating. Go to and if you don't have inspired action in that moment, don't take any action. Sit in some silence. Do a walk. Do some space. Start to feel your way like, okay, if I was inspired, what would it be like? What would that result be like? What is an action I could take? or more importantly, what emotions would I feel by having that? And if that would feel joy or excitement, and you can start to feel that, you can start to dial your way into that higher perspective and thought frequency, which will then bring in the ideas that know how to do it. And what I found that happens with a lot of people is that they do dial into the higher level version of themselves, this higher level thought pattern, but it's their, what I call, peripheral follow-up thoughts that actually kind of bring them back down. So you may be in a great state and going, hey, this is going well, and that's going well, and I feel great about it, and I'm feeling excited, and I'm aligned, and I'm excited about the process, and I'm letting life give me the direction and looking for inspired action to take aligned action. And then you walk away from there, and you see a bill on your table that you haven't paid yet, or something that you want to buy on Amazon, and then you're like, oh, I'm not spending money right now. And then you let that little trailing thought for 1 second triggers the old pattern of bringing your thought pattern to a lower level vibration or a lower level frequency. So it's in those subtle follow-up thoughts or reactionary thoughts that are literally the indicators of the frequency that we're operating from. So the best example I can really give you is about money. So let's say, for example, that you've decided that you're going to be saving money for a trip, or saving money for this, or not spending any more money this month or next month, or regardless. Let's just say that, for example. And you're walking around the house and you see something like, oh, here's something I would be useful to have. And maybe it's something like, oh, I'm going to go buy this thing. Or it would be nice to have this thing. And even in that exact moment, you may not be making the decision to purchase it, but the thought may be going through your head, hey, this would be nice to have this thing. And what may happen next is your brain may go, well, we're not spending money right now, so we're not going to buy that. So the thought pattern goes to naturally inspired thought from your environment. Hey, that would be neat to have. And then one of your older limiting lower level patterns goes, well, we don't have money right now. And then you leave the point of that inspired thought with a lowered state of operating emotion frequency, because you left it with a place of scarcity. Like, I'm not buying, I don't have enough money to buy that right now, is a scarcity based thought. So the best way to change that peripheral type thought is to go back to the pure thought, right? Walking around the house. Oh, it'd be nice to have a new this for the house. And just leave that thought at that moment at there, so that you take out that process of ending that pure instinctive thought, inspired thought, with a disempowered thought of scarcity. You do that once or twice, and it'll start recorrecting itself automatically, and you'll stop dropping to lower level states, lower level frequencies, or whatever you want to call them. And you'll stay more dialed in and tuned into the higher level. Because that's what it's really about. It's like, we are always creating. Change is immediate. And what usually happens is we change to exactly what we want, and then we usually change right back. Because there's an adjustment period. And sometimes the adjustment period, physically or emotionally or intellectually, feels different. We get uncomfortable, so we push it right back to the old way it was. But remember, the takeaways here is you have thought patterns. You are literally one frequency shift away from the thought pattern, the inner game that has the naturally inspired actions, ideas, motivation, and energy to create a far greater result than you've ever experienced before. It's literally a slight shift away. It's that close. It doesn't require weeks of conditioning. It doesn't require months of incantations or affirmation. It's literally a shift right there. So the faster you can normalize that new shift, the faster you can make consistent change. Right? That new identity is right there. Okay? Awesome. Have an amazing day.